A huge search is underway for the missing Malaysia Airlines plane flight MH370. Interpol meanwhile has confirmed that stolen passports used by two of the passengers on the plane were in their database and that the passports of other passengers are being probed. But families must continue with their agonizing wait for answers. Newsfirst Shine Jurang Pathi joins us now with a comprehensive report on flight MH370.
In a significant development, radar signals show a Malaysia Airlines plane that has been missing for more than 36 hours may have turned back to Kuala Lumpur before disappearing. Rescue teams looking for the plane have now widened their search area. Flight MH370 from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing disappeared south of Vietnam with 239 souls on board. Air and sea rescue teams have been searching an area of the South China Sea south of Vietnam for more than 36 hours. But Malaysian aviation authorities told a press conference in Kuala Lumpur the search area had been expanded to include the west coast of Malaysia.
We look back at the recording and there is an indication, possible indication that the aircraft made a turn back. And this is, collaborated at the moment. As we speak, we are trying to make sense of this, and in some part collaborated by civil radar, but we are still looking for areas from our international agencies. One of the possibility of turn back is coming back to KLIA.
Investigators are also checking CCTV footage of two passengers who are believed to have boarded the plane using stolen passports.
There are only two passengers on record that have flown on this aircraft that has false passport, and we have the CCTV's recording of those passengers from check-in right to the departure point.
Authorities now say that it is not clear if the aircraft crashed or was in fact hijacked. What is the public mood like in Malaysia? Newsfirst Bureau correspondent Chaluki Wirakon joins us now from Kuala Lumpur.
The news is general public here in Malaysia and families are expectantly awaiting news. While some are still holding out for a miracle, most families have resigned themselves to the fact that their loved ones are gone. Distraught relatives and loved ones of those on board are being given assistance at both arrival and departure airports. Many have expressed their frustrations over the lack of information. The passengers on the flight were of 14 different nationalities. 2/3 were from China, while others were from elsewhere in Asia, North America and Europe. I'm Chaluki Wirakon for Newsfirst, reporting from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
As hope of finding anyone alive and the aircraft itself begins to fade, Malaysian Airlines has informed relatives of passengers on board flight MH370 to prepare for the worst.
We have communicated to the family members that after more than 30 hours without any contact with the aircraft, we believe that the family members should prepare themselves for the worst.
As the wording of information coming from the authorities begins to take on a more and more ominous tone, families and friends of missing passengers have turned to faith and prayer. Buddhist, Hindu and Muslim faith leaders gathered at Kuala Lumpur International Airport today to pray for those on board flight MH370. They were joined by volunteers from a temple, airport security staff and civilians. More families of missing passengers arrived in Beijing today as well. Chinese relatives of passengers on flight MH370 have been gathered at a hotel near Beijing airport, put in a room and told to wait for information from the airline. Malaysia Airlines said at least 152 of the 227 passengers on the flight were Chinese. Incidentally, this is not the first time that a commercial jet has disappeared in this fashion. On June 1st, 2009, Air France Flight 447 was en route from Rio de Janeiro to Paris's Charles de Gaulle International Airport when communications ended suddenly from the Airbus A330, another state-of-the-art aircraft. Now, it took 4 searchers over the course of nearly 2 years to locate the bulk of Flight 447's wreckage and the majority of the 228 bodies in a mountain range deep under the ocean. Now, it took even longer to find the cause of the disaster. In May 2011, the aircraft's voice recorder and flight data recorder were recovered from the ocean floor after an extensive search using miniature submersible vehicles. It was not until July 2012 that investigators published their report, which blamed the crash on a series of errors by the pilots and a failure to react effectively to technical problems. Is it the same fate that awaits flight MH370, or will evidence prove otherwise? News First is on top of the story.